Good day to you, Cathedral High School, and it is a great day here on the Hill. It's the first week after July 4th, and as you know, it's been very hot, but it is really cool on the Hill to see all of our kids coming back and all the activity this morning. We have several hundred Camp Cathedral students coming in. We have 5 of our athletic teams hard at work this morning. Boys basketball, girls volleyball, girls cross country, boys football, and boys tennis. And I probably missed a team or two, but it has been a while since we've had this kind of life back on the Hill, and it just looks so great. We are so excited to get back to school on August 13th, and I'll share a little bit about our plans for that today. But I'd like to start with a quote from Tony Dungy. Tony's legendary in these parts and has done great work throughout the country, being faithful and giving people hope. Tony said last week that we've spent the last couple weeks focusing on our faults and kind of bringing each other down. And what Tony emphasized is that perhaps instead of that, we should be focusing on our blessings and thanking God for those blessings, and also looking around for ways to improve. Tony also said that there's no perfect place except heaven, and we won't see that until we get there. But in the meantime, we can look around and live a life of despair, or we can lift each other up and try to improve our current situation. That is a perfect example of what we are called to do at Cathedral High School as a Catholic school and as a Holy Cross school. I believe we've done that for 101 years. I firmly believe that we can do exactly what Tony said again this year. We've been very busy over the last few months. We're going to share a little bit about our plans to get back to school today. But first, I would like to share that the pandemic hasn't gone away. Coronavirus is still with us. With us coming back to school in August, there's a couple simple things we can do to be back in school and to stay in school, to do our part. So I've got my face mask here. Face coverings are really important to wear, and it will be required here as it is for everyone in Marion County. We're also going to have social distancing as much as possible on campus, and of course wash our hands as much as possible. We feel that Cathedral can do our part to get back to school and to have a great school year and be as safe as possible. We do have a task force that's been working for the last 2 months on a variety of scenarios for whatever will come our way as coronavirus continues to kind of spike and go away and spike and go away. We'll have that plan connected to this newsletter. There will be a link, and it will have all the information that our task force has put together on how to deal with the coronavirus and make the school year the best possible. We know that kids need to be in school. There are academic needs, of course. There are social needs as well. There are mental and emotional needs. There are nutritional needs. So our kids need to be in school. And I can tell you that we're doing everything we can to ensure that we will be in school on August 13th and being the best we can. We also have an academic task force looking at a variety of ways to educate our kids. A real big shout out to our teachers. Our teachers probably had it as tough as anybody during the pandemic to go along with our students. In a very short time, teachers had to pivot from face-to-face education, which is already challenging, to educating kids via the internet. And we all know how difficult that was. So as hard as our teachers worked and as good of a job as our teachers did, we still asked them to take a little time for their families this summer, but also to have some professional development time. Our teachers have done that, led by Julie Barthel and Mark Matthews and our academic innovation team, and even by fellow teachers who have stepped up. There was an online session yesterday where one of our teachers taught our fellow teachers new ways to educate our kids. So I am very confident that we will be better than ever in the fall to make this a great school year. I also want to share that we have a financial task force led by Colleen O'Brien-Teasley, our CFO, and she has been working at all the financial ramifications of the pandemic. We feel that we are prepared to handle whatever comes our way as the situation continues. One thing that specifically we've been doing the last couple weeks is trying to educate and lead the way, as we have for so long, in terms of the racial strife that's happening in this country right now. You may or may not know Ken Barlow, but he is a great blessing to our state and our city, but he's ours. He works for us. He's our Vice President of Diversity and Inclusivity. Ken is modeling listening and loving and learning, and we've held 3 listening sessions so far, Zoom meetings, attended by over 75 people each time, young people and not so young people, a variety of races. And Ken is really modeling that people could listen now, and that would be the best thing for us. I urge all of us to spend a little more time listening and learning about someone who maybe is not from the same culture as us. I also challenge you all, and I will challenge us here as an educational institution to try to learn about different cultures, and not to learn about a different culture from our perspective, but learn about a different culture from the culture's perspective. An example of that is a great podcast I'm listening to now that was suggested to me by my 18-year-old. I actually listened to my 18-year-old and took her suggestion. This podcast is called 1619, and it's a story from the perspective of a descendant, a direct descendant of the first 20 slaves, one of the first 20 slaves that came to what is now known as Virginia, and the story goes all the way through that history to today. It's fascinating for me to learn at my old age of 58 and a half about another culture, and I think we'll all be better if we listen and try to learn about other cultures from their perspective. So once again, it is great to see young people back here working hard. As you can see, our construction company has been hard at work all summer in the absence of everyone else, and has made great strides toward our new innovation center. Once again, we're going to have a new spirit shop, a new cafe. We're going to have great new spaces for learning, and that's going to be ready 1 year from now. But the construction is up and going, and the great news this morning that the new traffic patterns work. Drop off and pick up is working very well, and we're going to keep our kids real safe with the construction as well. It promises to be a very exciting year for us. In just 2 short weeks, we're going to have graduation for our class of 2020. We'll have a night of celebration here on the hill, which will be great. The kids will get to paint the wall, Sharpie the khakis if they want, and just be together again for one last time in the place that they've called home for the last 4 years. And then we'll have a baccalaureate prayer service, and we'll have graduation at the wonderful, beautiful piece of land called Brunette Park, just a little bit from us here, and it will be a great way to top off the year of 2020 for our seniors. And then we'll get to the business of opening school, because we are ready to go. There is action again on the Hill. We are ready to have a wonderful year, and we look forward to seeing everybody back here in August. May God bless you, and go Irish.